Welcome to a new story in what we call Amazing Stories.
Amazing stories.
Yeah. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, you provided some truly unbelievable source material.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so get this. The story of Victor Lustig, the man who sold the Eiffel Tower.
Sold. Like, actually sold it.
He did. Not once, but twice. We're going to explore how he pulls it off.
Okay, color me intrigued. You know our listeners love to learn quickly and thoroughly, and I have a feeling this story will deliver.
Oh, it absolutely does. This is a masterclass in deception with some seriously unexpected twists and turns.
And what exactly are we working with here? What did you dig up for this deep dive?
Well, we have excerpts detailing Lustig's exploits, plus a Wikipedia entry summarizing his life, which, let me tell you, is quite the read.
Right off the bat, just reading through these sources, the audacity of this guy blows me away. I mean, to not only think of selling the Eiffel Tower, but actually convincing someone to buy it.
It's insane.
It makes you wonder about both the con artist and the person getting conned.
Totally. Okay, so who was this Victor Lustig? Let's start at the beginning. He was born in Austria-Hungary, present-day Czech Republic, around 1890.
Okay.
And get this, he was apparently a refined, well-dressed, charming kind of guy, fluent in multiple languages, English, German, French, Italian. Sources say his ability to make people believe him was his greatest strength.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just charm, though, right?
No, definitely not.
Sounds like he really knew how to project an air of, like, trustworthiness, authority,
Yeah,
to make people drop their guard. It's almost like a performance.
exactly. And his early cons targeted wealthy Americans on transatlantic voyages, poker games, bridge, that sort of thing.
High stakes.
Oh, yeah. He'd gain their trust, then bam, clean him out.
Classic con.
He even went by Count von Lustig. Can you imagine the impact of that title back
Oh,
then?
huge. Even today, a title can make people more trusting, less likely to question someone. He created an instant power dynamic.
It's crazy. He used over 20 different aliases. And get this, he was arrested at least 45 times.
What, 45 times?
But he'd often talk his way out, sometimes even getting paid for the inconvenience.
Wow. That's some serious manipulative skill.
Right. Like, how do you even do that? It says here he spent some time in the U.S. and met Nicky Arnstein, another con artist.
Oh, Nicky Arnstein.
Yeah. Seems like Arnstein helped refine Lustig's techniques even further.
So they teamed up. Interesting.
There's a story here about a bank scam in Kansas. Fake bonds, real bonds, it's a whole thing. Lustig ends up getting paid by the bank for the trouble.
This guy. I mean, what? It's wild how he could turn any situation to his advantage. Probably played on the bank director's fear, made paying him off seem like the safer option.
Makes sense. So now, picture this. Paris, 1920s. The city's recovering from World War I. There's a lot of change happening.
I'm picturing it. Rebuilding, optimism, that whole jazz age vibe.
Exactly. But the Eiffel Tower, wasn't the beloved icon it is today.
Right.
It was called a blot on the landscape. There were even discussions about tearing it down because of the maintenance costs.
Interesting. So not everyone was a fan.
Not at all. And this is where Lustig gets his brilliant twisted idea. Reading a newspaper about the tower's uncertain future, he thinks, if they believe it's a nuisance, why not make them believe it's for sale?
That's brilliant.
Right. He saw an opportunity, a way to use public opinion and bureaucracy to make a fortune.
And the plan, how did he even begin to pull this off?
Well, first, forged government stationery from the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs, no less.
Wow.
Sends letters to 5 or 6 scrap metal dealers inviting them to a secret meeting at the Hotel Crillon.
Ooh la la. Fancy.
Very fancy. The meeting is all hush-hush, to avoid public outcry about the government's secret decision to sell the Eiffel Tower for scrap.
Okay, so he's playing on their desire for insider information, making them feel special. Clever.
Exactly. Lustig shows up posing as a high-ranking official, shows them forged documents about the dismantling process, even takes them on a tour of the Eiffel Tower itself.
That's bold. A tour, really adding to the illusion. Did anyone question anything?
Well, there was one guy, André Poisson, a new scrap metal dealer, ambitious, eager to prove himself. Apparently, he was also a little insecure and known to offer bribes.
So the perfect target.
Bingo. Lustig senses this and has a private conversation with Poisson, implying that for a little compensation, he could guarantee the deal went to Poisson.
A bribe. It appealed to his weaknesses, and once he paid it, he was in too deep to back out.
Exactly. Poisson pays the full amount, plus the bribe, something like 650,000 francs.
That's a small fortune back then.
A huge fortune. Lustig takes the money and disappears to Vienna.
So, wait, what happened to Poisson? Did he go to the authorities?
Imagine the humiliation of admitting you bought the Eiffel Tower. He kept quiet.
Oof, I guess that's why Lustig got away with it, at least at first.
It gets crazier. Weeks later, he's back in Paris trying the same scam again with another group of businessmen.
This guy was fearless.
I know, right? Either he was incredibly confident or he really thought he could get away with it twice.
And did he?
Almost. One of the businessmen got suspicious and contacted the police. Lustig managed to escape, but it was close.
So it shows that his methods weren't foolproof. It took just one person to see through the act.
Absolutely. The Eiffel Tower was just one of his cons, though. He had this whole money printing machine thing going on, too.
Okay, I've heard about this, the Romanian box.
That's the one. This was a small wooden box, and Lustig claimed it could duplicate money.
So how did it work?
He'd load a few real $100 bills into this box. Then, a bunch of elaborate steps, secret compartments, waiting 6 hours.
Smoke and mirrors.
Totally. And at the end, sure enough, a few more $100 bills would appear. But these were bills he'd preloaded, of course.
Oh, sneaky.
He'd sell the box for a huge sum, like $30,000, tell the buyer how to use it, and then vanish. By the time the buyer realized it was a fake, Lustig was long gone.
So simple, but so effective. He played on their greed, made them wait just long enough to escape.
It's brilliant, really. Oh, and there's this crazy story about him conning Al Capone.
Al Capone. That's a whole other level.
I know, right? So, Lustig approaches Capone, asks for a $50,000 loan, promises to double it in 2 months.
So Capone lends him the money.
Yeah, seemingly amused by the audacity of it all. But Lustig doesn't use the money for a scam. He just stashes it in a safe deposit box.
Okay, that's unexpected.
Right. 2 months later, he returns the 50 grand, saying the deal fell through. Capone is so impressed by his honesty that he gives him $5,000 as a reward.
What? So he conned Al Capone by being honest. Unbelievable.
Right. Lustig really understood how to manipulate people's expectations.
It was a master at playing against type. Amazing.
It seems like he enjoyed pushing the limits, seeing how far he could go.
But like all good things, his run had to end eventually.
It did. He moved to the United States and got involved in counterfeiting.
Money.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in fake bills. It was a big operation.
So a bit more traditional crime compared to his usual elaborate cons.
Yeah, it was a change of pace. But his downfall wasn't actually related to the counterfeiting itself.
Oh, what happened?
He was arrested in 1935, but because of a tip from his jealous lover, Billy May.
Oh, a woman scorned.
Exactly. She ratted him out because he was having an affair with his partner's girlfriend. They found $51,000 in fake bills and his printing plates.
Wow. So a love triangle brought him down.
You can't make this stuff up. And even then, he escaped from federal detention in New York.
Oh, way. Really?
Yep. They caught him a month later in Pittsburgh, but still.
The guy was a Houdini of cons.
Totally. Eventually, though, he got sentenced to 20 years in Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Harsh.
It was quite a change from those fancy hotels. He died there in 1947 from pneumonia.
What a life.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what a way to go.
The craziest part, his prison record lists his occupation as salesman.
Salesman.
I know, right? It's almost poetic.
It really is. The man who sold the Eiffel Tower and a salesman to the end.
So as we wrap up this wild deep dive, what can we learn from Victor Lustig and his incredible cons?
Well, it's more than just clever schemes. It's about understanding people. Lustig tapped into basic human desires like greed, ambition, and the desire to believe in something extraordinary.
Like, Poisson wanted the prestige of owning the Eiffel Tower. He wanted to believe, and Lustig gave him that opportunity.
Exactly. Lustig was also a master of presentation. He created an air of legitimacy and authority that made his claims seem plausible. He understood the power of appearance and how to manipulate social situations to his advantage.
It wasn't just about the con itself, but about understanding the psychology of his victims.
Absolutely. He didn't just tell a good story, he told a story his victims wanted to hear, a story that appealed to their desires and aspirations.
So to sum up this deep dive, we've seen how Victor Lustig, a charming and incredibly bold individual, managed to sell the Eiffel Tower not once but twice, along with pulling off a string of other unbelievable cons. He was successful not just because of his cleverness, but because of his understanding of human nature.
It's a fascinating look into the world of deception. And for you, the listener, it raises an interesting question. What makes us believe in the seemingly impossible? Think about the things we encounter in our own lives. What makes us more or less likely to accept extraordinary claims? And why do even the most outlandish deceptions sometimes find willing believers?
Food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.